We'll have your tongue for that.
Oh, not his tongue. Whoa. Feeling fiery, the nightmares of childbirth, and off with his head. Today, we are breaking down and reacting to all of the Targaryen medical scenes and brutal injuries from House of the Dragon. Let's dive right in.
Our children.
He obviously has a mask on the right side of his face. I don't know what's underneath there. The only time we ever see somebody with a face mask or something, usually it's covering the eye itself, not typically covering the whole face.
We'll have your tongue for that.
Oh, not his tongue. Whoa.
I did not see that coming.
Cut just above the posterior pharynx and the floor of the mouth. You'd have a ton more bleeding at this point, and you have the posterior aspect of like the spinal cord in the back, just depending on the angle where it was cut. We get a lot of people that come in with tongue trauma and they bleed a lot. There's a lot of blood vessels there. If we get the bleeding under control and there's not a big defect, actually won't be closed because it'll heal on its own. It's very regenerative, so to speak.
Lena!
Well, okay then. We definitely see people who have burn injuries. Some are minor and some are massive. You have first degree, second degree, third degree, and even fourth degree burns, which are rare. Your first degree burn is that sunburn. A lot of times second degree burns we see often with like scalding hot water, oil, and explosions typically cause third degree burns. Obviously this is not 100% thing or a complete list, but those are like in general.
It would suit you.
Oh, nice. Fist fight. Obviously, we should not be fighting.
Them's fighting words.
There's gonna be some bruising, bleeding, maybe some lacerations, but most of the blood probably comes from the nose or the mouth. When you hit somebody's mouth, the teeth can then cut your mucosal membranes, causing it to bleed. Oh.
You will die screaming in flames just as your father did.
We have a rock that he's threatening to smash or throw at somebody, which is going to be a significantly hard object, which could actually kill an individual if it hits your skull in the right way. You can cause a epidural hematoma, a subdural hematoma, or even a subarachnoid hemorrhage, just depends on the mechanism. Throwing dirt in the eye. I don't know if any of you had any foreign bodies in the eye. It is very uncomfortable. It potentially is going to scratch your cornea. The clear covering over the colored part of your eye, which is highly innervated, means that there's lots of nerves. So if there's any abnormality to it, it's going to hurt a ton. Oh, yes. Causes a laceration to the face through the eye. The eyelids are very thin skin and highly specialized because you also have what's called the tarsal plate where your hairs are growing out of, and you need to have that perfect because you'll have chronic issues relating to blinking of your eye. Looks like maybe they just chopped off a hand with an axe and made a pretty gruesome noise. We do see people get amputations of their fingers and hands. Please bring it in with you. You never know if somebody can reattach it, aka a replantation specialist. Whoa! Removal of this gentleman's manhood. Horrible pain, obviously uncomfortable. You have major blood vessels down there. They can bleed out, so the bleeding needs to stop. Similar to like the guillotine when somebody loses their head, you're going to still have some muscle movements. You're going to bleed out, but it will take a few seconds at least for the body to stop pumping blood, as well as the body to go limp and not have any muscle tone or action potentials.
It was an unprecedented roundup of criminals of every ilk. Your brother made a public show of it, meting out the summary judgments himself.
Watching the intense injuries can be a little stressful. Even sometimes when I come home from the hospital, I need a little more chill in my life. And that's when I use Chillax by my company, Life Happens. Check out Chillax at lifehappens.com or on Amazon.
They're going to bring the babe out now.
Normally when you're about to deliver, the baby's inside the womb, right inside the uterus and in different positions. But when the baby's ready to deliver, it's the head down position, meaning that the head comes first. And we all have heard about this, know this, it's crowning. So you see the head coming out first. And that's the appropriate way for the body to come out.
No, it's all right.
What does that mean? I'm serious.
It's all right. They're going to bring the baby out.
How will they be?
It's all right.
Serious, please.
You can have a leg, an arm, a butt. You can have different positions, and then makes it much harder for the baby to be delivered and increases the risk of injury to mom and baby because it might fail to progress.
I'm making the first incision. Please hold it still.
You heard them say they're making the first incision. Typically, a C-section will be a low, basically horizontal cut down in the pelvis area. So you're cutting through the skin. Then what ends up happening is you're actually trying to get to the uterus, which is a muscle too, and you have to cut through that to get the baby out. So that's typically why they say first incision, then maybe they're going to go into the second incision.
Don't be scared.
The problem back then is they had no way to really control the bleeding, and it's a very bloody process versus nowadays it's very controlled. As you do your cuts, you're actually cauterizing and stopping any bleeding and preventing the woman from bleeding out, and then you can deliver the baby and you can sew up the uterus and then you can sew up the skin thereafter. Wow. I mean, obviously it's not sterile. We also use anesthesia so you don't feel the pain. Typically in this circumstance, in modern day medicine, you're gonna use an epidural, and then they'll also anesthetize the skin in that area so that way it's not as painful. Wow, so he sacrificed his wife to get the baby born. So I believe that there was a non-progression of the delivery. The baby wasn't coming out. And so what could happen is if the baby stays in for a long time, after the membranes have ruptured or the fluids come out, you increase the risk of infections, so sepsis, and you could die, and the baby can die. House of the Dragon, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've even watched all of the Game of Thrones, obviously. Season 2 is shaping up to be pretty interesting and fun to watch. So if you guys enjoyed this, definitely check out this playlist right here, binge watch everything. And as always, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.